So no pushback? What do you mean? So no pushback? Bitch, what can I do? What do you mean? Like, I live in the United States of America, dog. What the fuck are you talking about? No pushback. The only thing I can do is just keep my fucking head down and do whatever the fuck I'm doing. You do understand that, right? Because, like, dude, Rashida Tlaib was literally the only congressperson that got censured by U.S. Congress in this entire fucking past 12-month time frame, where you had congresspersons like Tom Cotton openly talk about executing, driving over peaceful protesters. Okay, you had Louisiana's very own Kennedy come out in a anti-hate crime, anti-Semitism congressional hearing, point to a prominent Muslim woman and go, you should put a bag over your head. You love Hamas. You love Hamas. You love Hezbollah. You love Hezbollah. You love Iran. You love the Ayatollah. Like, it's just a Klan rally over there. Ain't nobody saying nothing about that shit, because that's just the fucking reality. There's literally nothing you can do. It's completely unacceptable. It's completely inappropriate. Unfortunately, not much you can do about it. You know what I mean? People couch Islamophobia as like real valid criticisms. And if you were around as a, I don't know, political commentator or someone who is like familiar with this sort of shit in the Obama era, you saw this. It was fucking even worse than it is now. So at least there are like prominent content creators who can communicate these things, like myself and many others who can just be like, yeah, dude, this is fucking ridiculous, and just move on. But there's not really anything you can do about it beyond that. Like, it was so much worse back in the day, dude. Holy shit. Hey, yo, Majority Report, thank you for the raid. In the process of showing the Stop Anti-Semitism montage, a clip was shown by Myron saying, we need to take our country back from Jewish supremacists. And there were a lot of two base in Asman chat. They didn't get banned. The irony still visible in the VOD. That's the funniest part, is that like people literally anti-Semitism in the eyes of so many people is like so much more acceptable as long as like they are in a vague area in terms of like Israel. Okay. Especially if you say you are pro-Israel, you could just, and Asman is not pro-Israel, by the way, but I'm simply stating like a lot of these guys that make this like terrorism or terrorist or Twitch streamer type shit, like they will put real anti-Semitic or real like weirdos on there, and then they'll like slam on people like fucking Frogan or myself into that to be like, see, they're all a part of this group. And it's like, am I aligned with Myron from Fresh and Fit or Sneeko? Really? Am I? Because if you think I'm on the same side as those guys, maybe there's another thing that is tying everybody together in your eyes. You know what I mean? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's something else going on there that's just tying everything together. I can't seem to put my finger on it, you know? I can't seem to place what it is. A deranged divorce fan called in a Majority Report Emma Sam and Matt shit on him for being an antisocial weirdo. Oh, hell no.
Who's this?
Hello, Thomas from New Jersey.
Thomas from New Jersey. What's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing? So I had a question to Emma about the Hasan thing. If you don't want to take it, I understand. But
what Hasan thing?
So
like right off the jump, that's your first problem. What do you mean the Hasan thing? Nobody knows. Half the time, these guys are so invested in their fucking little echo chamber where they're like, well, you know the latest of the Hasan thing? And it's like, what are you saying? It's almost like, you know how like when transphobes will just like laser in on the latest trans technology or whatever, or the latest like trans athlete that won third place in the fucking Iowa hot dog eating competition or some shit. And you're like, I don't know what this is. And I don't care. And you shouldn't care about it. Why do you care? Like, that's a self-report, dude. Like, what do you mean the Hasan thing? Like, why are you so invested, dude? It's crazy. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Ay. Asman Gold watching fuck Hasan videos in front of 50K people. What else is new, man? What else is fucking new, dog? What are you saying? What are you saying? Oh no, let me guess. LSF is going to have a field day with some of the fucking choice quotes about how I should be banned or some shit. Yeah, I know. Your haters are hating on you right now. No way. The weird thing about Asman is that HasanAbi really treats him with all the respect in the world, and you genuinely try to show him. Yeah, but also Asmongold low-key also is reciprocative. He reciprocates that respect as well, if we're being real. Like, I don't think Asmongold is he shows reciprocity in terms of like charitability and being open-minded. So I've always said he's like kind of interesting dude for that reason.
So the comment, and it's just a criticism, right? But the comment where Hassan says things like the Houthis are doing cock and hanging out with the captain, and
they're doing what?
It seems like propaganda. Hassan's interview with the Houthi guy.
Hold on.
He says,
yeah,
like, dude, this is the problem. Okay, you're opening up like a faucet of like weird shit that most people don't know. You're coming across. You know, okay, I'm gonna bring this back to like transphobia once again, because it's like a very noticeable pattern of insanity that when you're in it, you don't recognize, but when you're outside of it, it's like pretty obvious. What this chatter is doing on the Majority Report right now is kind of like having a random guy come up to you and be like, did you know that like they're chopping children's penises off? Did you know about this? Like, it's like obsessive. It's obsessive and it's weird. And like most people, even in the space, most people like Emma Vigeland and Sam Seder, who even know me, probably not aware of what the fuck you're talking about. You're like panting and excited to be like, did you know that this is what's going on? It's like, it's not like, it's a very weird thing that you're doing. And I don't know how to, like, I don't know how to describe this to people. Like maybe, hopefully one day they will understand that like, this kind of shit is like visibly off-putting to most normal people, but I don't know.
He won't call them hostages, right?
What is he
they are
saying?
hostages, let's be real. And he says
dude,
they're
hold on.
doing
I have
they're
no
partying.
context. I didn't see the
Oh, okay.
interview. I have none of this context.
So you
Principle,
called it a great interview and told everybody they should watch it, but you didn't watch it.
no, I saw a clip of it. I saw probably 2 minutes of it. I didn't watch the full context. I don't watch Hassan that much. I'm friendly with him. I like his politics. Hold on. Hold on.
Okay.
On principle, I agree that we should be learning more about Houthis, about Hezbollah, about resistance groups to Israel, because this is a region that the West, and particularly the United States, has been exploiting for its oil, for its resources, and has been waging wars in that area. We killed...
Like, I love your content and it's helped a lot in the formation of my empathy as I left my bigoted home years ago, but I am not online enough to comprehend or care about these weirdos. I'd rather just enjoy your content and live my life in the rest of the world. Yeah. Bro's not even talking to a bus driver. He's talking to Sam Seder, and Sam Seder's like, what the fuck are you on about? I know. Like, these are people who are at least like more knowledgeable about the issue, but this guy is just like panting and trying to fucking... You know, it's just like, I want everyone to live well. Okay. I want everyone to live well. I want everyone to be able to have health care. I want everyone to be able to have like a fucking meaningful existence on this earth. Okay. We don't have a lot of time here. And I do like none of my haters will ever fucking hear me when I say this, but I do genuinely want them to stop doing this. Not only because it's like obviously self-serving, because it's like fucking ridiculous to have to deal with this all day, every day, but it legitimately is better for your mental health if you stop doing stuff like this. Like, this is not a healthy fucking way to exist. Okay? It's not. Like, you're ultra hug boxed, ultra echo chambered, ultra online. You're going to come across like a fucking weirdo amongst normal people.
Up to 1 million people in Iraq. We are midwifing a genocide in Gaza. And so understanding where they're coming from is very important, and I think it's Western chauvinism to pick apart their ideology from the outside.
Oh, there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would just say you should watch the interview because it is propaganda. He doesn't do those things. He compares them to the number one
I don't care.
Character, superhero character, guy with superpowers, number one anime character, and then says things
Sick,
about the
bro.
hostages. I think you should go watch it.
Let me ask you this question.
comparing them to a character. You don't understand. You need to do something about this now. It's like, come on, dude. Come on. Come on. Oh my God. Why did little bro think anime was a solution to a losing conversation? He's not thinking. He's just horny.
Question. Let me hold on for a second. I'm curious. What do you think is behind, like, let's say when like Richie Torres right now apparently is really focusing on attacking Hasan. What do you think is behind this? Like, I mean, we have hours and hours. I mean, for the first 6 months of this of Israel's assault on Gaza, for instance, I could name to you the names. I could actually identify IDF spokespeople. I can't even do that with American military spokespeople. I can't do that. Like, I mean, but they were on our TV so often. So what is like, and I think would you concede that?
Yeah, that's wrong.
Incredibly often, hold on, that they are not challenged by these hosts of these shows that go out to millions upon millions of people?
It depends upon the show.
But I mean, you wouldn't refute that. Like, I mean, we're talking hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Maybe not all shows, but the vast majority.
No, that's true. I wouldn't refute that.
Okay, so I'm curious. No, I'm curious though. What do you think the obsession is of this? Because we didn't, the amount of phone calls that we got for any given interview with IDF spokespeople was rather limited. I didn't see Richie Torres or really anybody for that matter go after any type of journalists who were not questioning. I'm just curious, what do you think this blowback is? Like, because from my perspective, without really, to be totally honest, knowing.
Law, the latest clip on the Reddit is about how you made Austin uncomfortable by showing him terrorist propaganda. They're saying it's another Nick situation, Lemafayal. Yeah. Austin, who is my podcast co-host, one of my closest friends on this broadcast, like on this in this entire space, who knows my entire family, who literally sits with me and does political commentary in that same broadcast for 4 hours, was uncomfortable being next to me. Like, that is the level of like, this is how it works. This is how you get other like parasocial losers to basically view a situation that is objectively the opposite, right? Like, you can psych yourself into just believing something that is so stupid. That's an insane thing. If you want to understand like Reddit brain syndrome, this is a perfect demonstration of it. Hasan, his insistence that it doesn't matter if rape happened on October 7th is insane. Dude, I said that doesn't justify genocide. Are you moving away from the camera? Are you? Austin is escaping. Like, I'm very clearly joking. He was getting up to get fucking sushi, dude. Like, that's an insane thing. This is the funniest fucking thing to clip chimp, to be like, yeah, dude, Austin is really scared. Nah, he's got no motion. He sucks. This is a day where Austin was on camera for approximately 4 hours talking about politics, including, but not limited to, everything. Trying to make sure he's not next to NMP clip in Congress. Miss said he'd be in LA this week and might not go on Hasan's stream. Was he invited to be on? No, and if he was, he would 100% go. Guy has no shame. Like, also, why is this post so late? Most anti-Hasan posts are from EU Redditors. That's why they show up early in the morning in the US. Yeah. Why is it so hard for Hasan to just say, yes, the rapes happened and they're horrible and I'm sorry for minimizing them? Why is he incapable of recognizing he did anything wrong? Why would I turn around and fucking act like, excuse me, Kaya, what the hell is going on? My mom is in the background, so she's so spoiled around her place. And this morning, I did actually work her out. So I don't know why she is behaving this way. And clip it. Kaya is uncomfortable. Yeah, clip it and ship it, boys. They do not like that you have friends like a normie and they're alone in their basements. Anyway, the reason why I pointed to that is because The reason why I pointed to that is because it's so fucking weird that like you can try to clip something that is so the opposite of reality and people will still believe it on Reddit as long as it corresponds to their personal biases. They did this with Nick Pollum and now they're doing it with Austin, which is even funnier than Nick Pollum. I love Nick as well. And Nick was also ironically staying at my house at the time. But it's hilarious that they're like, nah, Nick actually hates him, but he's like scared of him and his fan base. And it's the same principle behind like Austin, who is my fucking podcast co-host, okay? Co-owner of the podcast that we do together. That's an insane thing. Didn't Nick ask you to teach him about stuff? Yeah. Anyway, let's continue.
Too much about the principle. It's just, I find it fascinating that we have now turned that the whatever you want to call it, what is it, Hasbara or Hasbara or the push by Zionists now is all second or third order stuff as the images keep rolling in, as we see people burned alive in tents, as you know, Israel a year into this, they have literally killed the people who would negotiate getting the hostages out. They have all but abandoned, and certainly I'm not speaking, this is not me, this is not conjecture, this is just from Israeli reporting, abandoned any attempts to get the hostages back. And now, like, the number one thing that I see coming out of Zionists is about an interview that Hasan did.
Nobody believes it. They all watch the full stream, hey watching. They have the full context. They're just jerking off via Reddit comments. I know, but like, who does this like actually change the minds of, right? Like, what happens? Someone goes, wow, a lot of Hasan's close friends seemingly hate him. So then what happens? Like next week he's on, or the next day he's on the broadcast, and then we just move on. I think they just really want to frustrate you and take your time up with drama. It's because you force Austin and Nick to come to your stream and watch top of the hour ad break. Okay, dude, get with the program. I'm not running ad breaks no more. But you can still subscribe at the top of the hour if you would like to for $6 or for free to support the show. And also be able to send me links. It was the 2 weeks of mainstream media coverage that tilted them. Yeah, whenever I get motion in mainstream media, they lose their minds and they start going. My normie friend legit was like, wow, I've been kind of put off by Hasan lately. I saw some clip where he was like laughing at rape, and then he had some terrorists on his stream. I spent a good while deprogramming him after that, but it still does happen to some good people. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure most people do not have the capacity to seek out additional information, but it's not the end of the fucking world, dude. I don't even fault people for hating me. Like, there is so much fuck Hasan content that is completely out of context everywhere, online, non-fucking stop. The only thing you could do is just point to the stream, okay? Come in and see for yourself if those are the things I believe in, you know? There are also videos where I go through the context of a lot of these things, including, but not limited to, on my YouTube page. For every like fuck Hasan video, there is a video where I like very clearly describe what I believe, right? And you can just point to them on that shit. Like you can point to like YouTube videos to see the full context of everything. Man, I saw a TikTok comment that said, you posted the Jewish person on a pike, normies are not paying attention. Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be people that are fucking insane. They believe like insane shit. I'm glad I watched you before watching Abba and Preach. They had a video where they were looking at a clip chimp video view that made you look transphobic. Yeah, it's really funny that like there's hella people that will be like, Hasan is transphobic. That's what really pisses me off. What really pisses me off is that when people will take something that I don't believe at all, or will make it seem like I believe the opposite thing that I actually believe. That actually does piss me off, because it's like, come on, dude. If it's something that is in line with my values, it's one thing. If it's something that is in line with my values, is one thing. But if it's like something that I don't believe, that I have like tens of thousands of hours railing against, and you're just over here being like, nah, he believes this shit. Actually, he is transphobic, he's homophobic, he's anti-black, he fucking is anti-Semitic. Like, these are things that are frustrating. I would say show the Destiny versus Destiny TikToks here and there so people will see how stupid and hypocritical Destiny is. The week you did that made Destiny calm down a bit. yeah, I mean, it's fine. I don't really give a shit. There's more important things to cover. There's an election happening. So I'm going to finish this and then we're going to get to that. We're going to dive into that.
6 months ago.
9 months ago, who I'm now, apparently the kid wasn't even Houthi. Apparently the kid was just participating in the blockade, which was extremely righteous. That these resistance groups
The funny, not funny, but like the craziest thing is they're going to get this fucking kid killed, okay? At this point. Like all these like dumb Westerners are going to get him in trouble with either the Ansar Allah administration that has already arrested him before, or America. You know what I mean? He's just going to get fucking killed. And then what? Okay, you got it. You killed another 19-year-old in Yemen, you know? Just another fucking Tuesday. It's really, really, really frustrating that kind of dumb shit like makes people feel happy and excited. Like your life still sucks, you know?
In the area.
But wait, I'm just curious. What do you think accounts for that? Like, why is Richie Torres focused on this 8 to 9 months after this interview was done? What do you think that is?
It's the Twitch. It's what's going on with Twitch is the reason why it's come back.
You say, tell me Richie Torres is a big Twitch fan?
No, it was a big deal then, and it was talked about then, but it died down.
No, it wasn't. The only people that talked about it were talking about it in positive terms, or it was literally journalists that were reaching out to be like, hey, can I get his contact so we can also interview him? No one gave a shit. Y'all, this, again, it probably popped off in your Discord. It probably popped off in the subreddits that you visit. But like, no, it did not reach like broader fucking consciousness or in a way that you want to present it as. Okay. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like what you see in your hug box, what you see in your echo chamber seems so real to you. And then you were ripped away from that in a brief moment when you are either outside and trying to explain this to like normal people. And you realize like, no, most people don't see it in the same way that you do.
And with Frogan saying the thing about soldiers with PTSD, the spotlight's on Twitch, and that's one of the most blatant things that's been done on Twitch. That's why that gets brought up.
You know what I would suggest to you?
One comment.
Let me suggest, make a suggestion to you. Instead of getting super involved in these in Twitch dramas, if you want drama, go and watch some of these videos and get involved in the actual
dynamic.
Yelling
about the ethno state and how they hate brown people.
Well, I mean, I think you should do. I think you should.
Talk to a person in real life.
I would.
Calling people trust fund kids, and the only people who are angry about this are trust fund losers, and all the things that was said.
I think you've lost the thread already. You were okay for about 10 seconds, but then you went off. Look at the first order issue.
You're 100% right. There's a lot of horrible things being said, but pushing propaganda over here doesn't make it okay doing it over here. That's my only point.
What is propaganda?
Yeah, and this 9-month-old interview that I did watch at the time. I don't remember it obviously as clearly as. Can I keep talking?
Months old, it's okay.
Yeah, no, I'm saying what I'm saying is I watched at the time. I did not think anything was actually that problematic about it. I thought it was an interesting view of things. Not that I would say take people hostage, but to the extent that there are, say, boats being taken hostage in certain areas, I look at like what's causing this issue, and I don't like isolate it into one thing and say, oh well, this person, look at this bad thing of a statement from a political group. Like, what are we talking about?
What's fascinating is the argument that we hear that it's Hamas's fault. Hamas made Israel kill all of these civilians, right? Like that transitory, the responsibility is not on the person taking the action. It's on the person who provoked the action. But couldn't you make that same argument with the Houthis? Like if it's so transitory, like, well, look at what Israel made the Houthis do. Like there's, let's ascribe agency to everybody who's involved in there. Let's ascribe a certain amount of like implications. The Houthis definitely inhibited food that could have gone to, the people in Sudan, because that is where, some of those shipments came. And that responsibility is on them. They were the only country, I guess, if you want to say, that was responding to this slaughter of Palestinians. If you want to say that the Houthis are responsible for this, how can you in any way say the Israelis aren't responsible for the deaths of thousands upon thousands upon thousands of children? Never minding, like, in the future, never mind that the numbers are probably higher than the ones that...
It's funny because if you said exactly what Sam is saying here, I have. There'd be 6 hate threads saying Hassan supports terrorism law. I have. The difference is that Sam is a media professional that has been doing this for years and years and years and deserves a lot of respect from a lot of these other like younger folks that have maybe watched him here and there. And I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that they trust him. You need to understand something. I don't care if people fucking despise me. Okay. As long as their heart is in the right place, as long as like they're also recognizing that Israel is doing a genocide, as long as they recognize that like that has to end. It's the same principle behind when people were like, Hassan, you bought a house, you're fucking rich, but a socialist. Hassan, you're rich, but a socialist. Like, fuck you. How does that work? It's like, no, it's good. Remember the conversation I had with Ethan when I was getting fucking yelled at for buying a house? And one of the things I told him in one of the first ever Leftovers episodes was like, it's healthy to not like rich people. I think getting mad at me is, probably not the most appropriate venue, right? I think it's kind of silly. And only time will show how silly it is. And time has shown that it's a silly thing to fucking yell about. Okay. Having said that, however, I think it's, keep that energy. Keep that energy for wealthy and powerful people and the disdain you have for wealthy and powerful people across the board. The issue is a lot of these people are not mad about the power imbalance or the way that society is designed to churn out certain results that help the super wealthy. They just don't like that I am telling them that shit is fucked up and also have become successful in that process. And that's what's sad.
That we even quote at this point. Never mind like the massive trauma that these children, half of the population there under the age of 18, are going to be subjected to over the decades. Somehow that's not the responsibility of Israel. Somehow the 70 years, 80 years now of nearly 80 years of essentially occupation or, you want to call it, Warsaw Ghetto style blockade around Gaza, however you want to characterize it. That's all not Israel's fault.
And Nicola writes in, fundamentally, Hassan was trying to humanize a 19-year-old Yemeni kid who's known genocide most of his life. He didn't elevate some monster you people are crying are lost in ideology. And that kind of sums it up, because I guess I just learned, recently that wasn't even a kid that was Houthi. He was just a Yemeni kid that was participating in resistance.
I'm sorry, even if he was, the question Hassan asked, which is like, sure. What about anti-Semitism? You agree that's bad? He's like, yes, we agree that we don't want to get...
That's the other part of the interview where I directly asked him about Jewish people, whether he's a Houthi or not. You know what I mean? What am I supposed to do? Fucking dunk on a... they just want me to debate a 19-year-old in Yemen who does not speak English, who has, once again, only known genocide his entire life, only known famine his entire life. I am supposed to assume that he is lying.
Confused, and that there's something to ask about the Houthis because of statements like death to America, death to Jews. He says it is related to the Zionism. A
YouTuber I like made a fuck Sam video, so I left the comment saying he was wrong. He blew up on me, and then I criticized him for never covering Gaza. Since then, he has uploaded over a dozen videos on the topic. I thought that was kind of cool. That's amazing. That's good. That's good shit. Okay? Get these motherfuckers to talk about Gaza. That's great. You have now successfully made something positive out of a fuck Hassan video. That's fine. That's the funniest thing when people are like, I'm pro-Palestine, actually, even though I've noticeably been quiet for the past 12 months of genocide. And the only time I'm ever going to talk about it is when I'm cynically critiquing a person who has, done as much as he can to communicate what is fucking going on.
And look, you can say he's dishonest about that, but that question was asked.
But I'm sorry. If these groups say death to America, We have to reckon with
Why
that.
do they say that?
We have. This is because
they hate our freedom.
They just hate us for our freedom.
McDonald's and Burger King. And
Yeah, this is like that's the underlying thing that is also very frustrating about these sorts of conversations is that like you are very deliberately dulling your own perspective. Like you are very deliberately making yourself dumber. You are closing off an entire fucking like you're closing yourself off from like additional information and succumbing to unserious and childlike analysis when you do this. You are turning into a Steven Crowder style person. And it's kind of funny because like many people who used to be fans of mine who now like hate me or whatever used to laugh alongside me when we used to make fun of people like Steven Crowder for saying these idiotic things like they hate us because of our freedoms. Like they hate us. That's why they're saying death to America, because we got gay people here. It's like, no, dude. It's like, why are you an otherwise intelligent person, an otherwise empathetic person, so willingly shutting off a part of your brain and then turning around and believing, like purposely trying to get yourself to believe a thing that you might not have believed a year ago? That's it.
Playboy and stuff.
That we have to reckon with that. First of all, the assumption that this kid was Houthi when he was just Yemeni and participating in the blockade, you could argue that that's a little racist. Secondly, if they're saying death to America and they're saying horrible things, we are the world's superpower. As I mentioned, we have like the
just take the last
Great
century.
Britain, France, other imperial powers carved out the Middle East for their own imperial interests, and then post World War II, the United States basically took over the mantle, and Israel has been a big part of that policy. We have ruined the lives for millions of people in that region, killed up to 1 million people in Iraq, and then of course what we've done to the Palestinian people. Of course they don't like America. And if you can't deal with that, you're a little baby. And then you don't really want to deal with, I think, the reality of what we mean as a global empire on the world stage and the kind of resistance that's going to come up. And it's not going to always be resistance groups that have our exact ideology. I wish that there were more secular.
It's not always Mandela.
But Barghouti is in a Israeli prison and has been there for 20 years. Where is the Palestinian Mandela? He's locked up, dude. That's why.
Well,
so like this helps. What this kind of framing about Muslim and Arab people in the region engenders is that flattening of the power dynamics here to make it as so they're just basically all anti-Semites and bigots and America haters, when they are actually responding in ways that they can. And some of these groups are good and some of the tactics are wrong and some of the groups are bad. Some of the tactics are good. Who knows? Whatever. But the overall problem is American imperialism in the region. And everything else that you're dealing with are semantics to obscure that very reality.
We should also say, and someone reminds it, like, you know, if you take 10 minutes to understand 5 minutes, we provided a lot of support for the Saudis bombing in Yemen, resulting in the deaths of I don't know how many thousands upon thousands of people. It breeds resent. It turns out it breeds resent.
Yeah.
It breeds resent. Call from an 870.
Damn. Pack watch. This is a massive issue of not being able to imagine yourself in someone else's shoes. I mean, I get that. I'm a little bit more understanding. I'm a little bit more understanding of people who are deluded by Western chauvinism. Because, like, Americans literally don't even have empathy for their fucking neighbors, dude. They don't even have empathy for their goddamn neighbors who have, like, identical living circumstances to them, but are just, like, marginally different, whether it be because of their gender expression or the color of their skin or financial predicaments that cause them to become homeless. You know what I mean? So, like, they don't even have fucking empathy for those people. In a nation where so many people literally flex their lack of empathy for even their immediate neighbors, how the fuck can you get them to have any ounce of empathy for people thousands of miles away that have been victim to a lot of the things that America has done that they don't even hear about, that they don't even see, that they are willingly blind to. So I get it. And that's why, in spite of all of the barrage of like bullshit where people go, fuck you, Hasan, you fucking love terrorism, you fucking piece of shit, you love terror, go back to your own country, if you don't like it, leave it, that type of shit. Like when people say that sort of thing, I have no choice but to just eat it and then continue explaining my position over and over and over and over again, you know? Because for as many people who are directly refusing to hear the truth, there are still going to be hundreds of people who are like, you know what? I never thought about it that way. Do you understand?